Hello, beautiful humans and stuff. I know this is not my channel, but
he said the beautiful.
He said his catchphrase.
Yeah, I say that.
He said the thing.
You know, you give positive energy to the world, you get positive energy back. That's what my mom always told me.
I'm waiting for it to come back to me.
So, welcome to the last episode of MidByte Hour. For the new year, at least, we'll of course still be doing episodes when 2024 comes in. And yeah, we won't be going anywhere anytime soon. So sorry to disappoint our haters, because I know we got haters. Just kidding. We probably don't have haters yet, but we will eventually.
One day.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah,
when we get the first hate comment.
The Sonic Adventure 2 video can't come soon enough.
I'm scared for that one.
All right. So before we kind of go any further, we do have a very special guest with us today. So it's not just Zach, Dave, and I. So we got Jess over here. So Jess, why don't you let the MidByte Hour miscreants know what you do?
Oh boy, you really want to know? I'm Jess Kaz, aka Here's Squidward on YouTube. I do this for a living. I play Roblox and Minecraft and any other games that I think could be funny to play as Squidward and other SpongeBob characters on YouTube. And me and my friends just make a whole lot of shitty, horrible, stupid content, which is, at the end of the day, super funny. You should definitely go check it out. And yeah, that's just my whole shtick. I rip people off for a living.
Well, it's funny now.
Here's Squidward.
We literally have
Squidward.
had Squidward, crabs. Like we had Al before. Now we have Jess.
You won't be able to have any reason to have Wes on board, because unless you're having a podcast about femboys, well, he'll say he's retired, but my comment section says otherwise.
It's okay. We don't need
Shut up,
SpongeBob
Plankton.
here.
I don't care if this is your podcast.
All right, I'm going back to work.
That's the most accurate Squidward impression I've ever heard.
Really?
The way you said "shut up, Plankton."
Oh, my aching tentacles.
You got the voice. You got the anger. It's all there.
You got the
anger,
name.
especially.
I've been doing it for almost a whole year now, which is insane because I don't know how it got to be December already. Started in February and got lots of fun plans into the new year, and it's just I can't believe I'm already thinking about the next year. Maxwell, stop it! If my dog is making noises in the background, I swear he's not being tortured. He just sounds like it.
Oh, we could have a fifth guest. I would totally love to have your dog on.
Do you have anything useful to say?
Riders is a...
Oh my god!
Look at the doggy!
This is Max. He's been with me since I was 8 years old. He's 15 and a half, and he just makes noises because he can.
Oh my god!
The grunts. I love the old doggy grunts.
Oh my god! Max, have you ever played SquarePants before?
He'll never admit to it, but he has.
What the hell is Squiggle Pants?
Oh man, we should have done a Scooby-Doo episode. That would have been perfect.
We gotta play some Squiggle Pants.
Did we end off the last episode with Scooby-Doo impressions?
Like Zoink Scoob.
Did we?
Yeah, I think it's not the last episode. The episode
Like
before.
Zoink Scoob.
You know what's amazing to me?
I don't even
that
remember
Fred
anymore.
Jones has been played by Frank Welker since 1969. That man is a legend.
I know.
Wow, that's insane.
First Scooby-Doo.
So
SpongeBob games, huh?
That's SpongeBob games.
Yeah, SpongeBob
Yeah, what's
games.
SpongeBob? I've never heard of it.
So
Yeah, we were just talking about Scooby-Doo, you know, the best cartoon
Yeah,
ever.
They have Squidward games. When are they gonna make a
debatable.
Squidward game? That would do really good for my PR.
So
As soon as they make the Squidward
They
show.
were supposed to, and they canceled it.
because they kind of came to their senses after the Patrick show.
No,
But
that was
anyway.
supposed to be first. They replaced Squidward with Patrick. What kind of moron replaces me with Patrick?
Actually, that
Those
is true.
idiots don't know
I would
talent.
much rather watch a
I
Scuba
think
show.
the name you're looking for is Paramount.
Goddamn Paramount. Am I allowed to curse on this show? Because I have some things I want to say about Paramount.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those
You are
fuckers.
allowed to curse.
Those motherfuckers. I swear to God. I'm going to get that show one of these days.
For sure. Well, tis the season, I guess. So we are I guess this is kind of considered a holiday episode because we're kind of taking this opportunity to talk about a bunch of really weird and out there SpongeBob games that a lot of us probably wouldn't talk about like in any other situation. Besides me, I would definitely talk about these in a video for sure.
I mean, I think the best games are the quirkiest ones. I mean, I wish they were talked about more often. It's amazing when I come across a video talking about the ones that we have listed to talk about today. I mean, there's been a lot of SpongeBob games that have influenced in my life, but none of them have stuck with me. Which is funny to say because there's been a lot of really good ones, but these specifically, a lot of these have stuck out amongst the rest, and I can't really explain it. I don't know if it's nostalgia or there's actually some sort of quality to it, but
I think when people randomly come across these games, they do, even if they've never even seen them, they do take a piece of that game with them, and it's just like interesting to see because not a lot of people do talk about them.
You're right.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, like for me, I think it's just mental delusion. You know, I grew up with these games, and it's like kind of like whatever you play first is like the golden standard for the rest of your life. And so obviously, one of my very first games was Employee of the Month. So of course, that set a standard for my life. I mean, like Mario Sunshine. Why would I play that when I got Employee of the Month?
God,
you know?
You're speaking my language. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so we're basically going to just go do a whole bunch of random SpongeBob games and kind of just talk about them and give some thoughts and stuff. And, you know, if you like this episode, but you didn't get like your favorite SpongeBob game included here, then let us know what games you'd like to hear us talk about in the future. And we definitely can make some notes and do some sequels and stuff because I will never get tired of talking about SpongeBob games. I think that's very apparent. So I will, no matter what Dave and Zach say to, you know, dissuade me from doing it, we will make it happen.
I think Dave should do a whole episode on his own about how much he loves Cosmic Shake.
Yes, very
Dave's
much so.
favorite game of all time. I'd love to watch an episode about that.
The face of a man who looks like he wants to do it.
Yeah.
Look at that face.
He looks
He's like,
thrilled.
yeah,
He looks
let's do it. Let's go.
I'll talk about how much I love it whilst also taking the game, setting it on fire, and throwing it into a bin.
This asshole, this guy, where'd you get him?
Hey, where would we pick
That
this
would have to
clown
be an
up
episode
from?
in the future. But yeah, so you know, in an event to try to prevent fires in the first like half hour of the podcast, let's go ahead and switch over to the actual topic of the video.
Second half hour is okay though, right? I just want to make sure before I set my fire.
You can try it out and see what happens.
Let's see if I
You know,
make it.
I'll leave it up to the fire guys.
Let's see if I make it to the end of the
Fire
podcast
God.
in one piece.
You gotta bring up the chart. Fuck around and find.
If I fuck around this much.
This is how much you'll find out.
find out.
For sure. And I also say that, like, as you can tell, we wanted to have Jess on here because Jess loves a lot of these games as well.
Can't get enough of them.
In the exactly.
If you
In the
watch any of my
meanwhile-
videos, a lot of the music I use are from these games. Like almost all the music I use is Operation Krabby Patty.
Oh my god. And like I've used some songs from Employee of the Month in my videos myself actually. Like it's just very perfect like YouTube sounding music.
Yeah, it really is. It's knock on wood, they're not
It never gets copyrighted
it
because-
doesn't get copyrighted.
Whoever made those games doesn't care we use their music for sure. And so it's a win-win situation. It sounds generic, but I can also say this is a deep cut. This came from Employee of the Month, level 3.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I find it both amazing. I don't know if it's more amazing or more sad that I could just hear like a little bit of the song and I'm like, this happened at this point in the game at this exact second. Like I just play these games so many times I could just pinpoint exactly what level and what part. Because Employee of the Month has different music throughout each level, but it's amazing how I could immediately like picture myself playing it and the level and the things being said and happening. These games have just really left an imprint on my brain. Really have.
For sure. And yeah, we're basically already talking about Employee of the Month. So Employee of the Month was a suggestion from Jess actually. And I am very upset that I did not make the suggestion because what an iconic game to start with. And so Employee of the Month is the king of point and click games. So I think it's is it the first point and click SpongeBob game? I guess Operation Krabby
Operation
Patty
Krabby Patty technically is, but I don't think you ever actually clicked anything in the game.
I mean, you clicked on things, but not in the way that you would Employee of the Month. So
Employee of the Month had
Employee
an
of the Month
inventory
is-
and different little clickable items with little special animations, and you actually had to click to move. Or Employee of the Month, you just had to move the mouse around. Like, you could literally just play it with a joystick and not a button. The only thing that clicking the mouse got you was like a special little jumping animation or spinning animation from the characters, which was fun to see, but pointless.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think Employee of the Month was actually my first PC game ever, I'm pretty sure. And so, again, a great way to start off my career as a gamer, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
But basically, for those of you who are not familiar, Employee of the Month is a PC SpongeBob game. It's very simple. SpongeBob gets tickets to go to Neptune's Paradise from Mr. Krabs. You know, the game starts off very weird. They start off filming the theme song on a movie set. So it's kind of like, you know, SpongeBob within the universe is an actual show that the characters film for. So I always thought that was really interesting as a kid. And basically the whole game is just SpongeBob trying to figure out how to get to Neptune's Paradise. And so you basically like go do 4 levels, you go to various locations in Bikini Bottom. You also go to Rock Bottom, which is amazing. And you talk to characters, you try to discover like items and secrets, and you try to do things that will progress you to the next level, basically. And it's extremely simple and extremely like bare bones like kind of game, but I loved it as a kid. I think I replayed it like 20 or 50 times as a kid. It was just
for a game that's
perfect.
really bare bone and simple. I gotta say, I go back to it and play it now. Like, I couldn't get enough of it growing up, and I still can't. You know, and I love. I'm not the kind of person that likes to skip cutscenes either. I like hearing all the original dialogue recorded for it. Which, speaking of which, you know what's really interesting to me? They had Clancy Brown play Mr. Krabs in this game, but they didn't have him in Battle for Bikini Bottom.
No.
How does that shit happen?
This game had
This
budget.
game had budget,
clearly.
obviously.
Well, I mean, it's either a budget thing or I think when they did the recording for Battle for Bikini Bottom, I'm not sure if Clancy's ever stated this, but I feel like I heard or read somewhere that he was just too busy to do the game.
So I asked Mr. Lawrence once, for anyone that is unfamiliar with me, which I don't know how anyone would know this anyway, but I have a lot of contacts in the animation world, and one of my very good friends is Mr. Lawrence, who played Plankton on SpongeBob. I asked him once. No one asked you, Plankton. Anyway, you're not allowed to laugh. This is not your show.
Well, actually, technically, it is.
I'm
technically.
Look at me, people. By the end of this show, it's going to be the Squidward show. There will be nothing to do with... What's your name again? Dav? Nothing to do with Dav. Nothing to do with Dav.
Yeah, I believe it's pronounced Dave.
Nothing to do with Dave. Anyway, Dave, I asked him once. Oh, I'm still doing with Squidward. Whoops. That happens. I just start talking mid-sentence, and not even what I'm trying to do. It'll just happen. I asked him why Ernest Borgnine and Clancy Brown had not been in some games as Merman Man and Krabs, and he, funny enough, did not really have much of an answer, but he says he can't imagine it would be anything else other than money, because when it came to scheduling, usually these studios would work around the actors and make it work on their schedule. So unless he was like unbelievably busy, I'm gonna guess it came down to money. So Employee of the Month, their budget was this stacked.
That is so ironic for Clancy Brown. That is for Mr. Krabs. That is ironic.
Money.
Yeah.
But I think what I loved most about Employee of the Month was that it really just felt like an interactive episode of SpongeBob.
Yeah,
which
it was crazy because of how immersive it was in there. Because you got to see all these important characters from throughout the show, and it was fun because you got introduced to new ones. And what was really cool to me about introduced to new ones was at this time Rock Bottom was the only Rock Bottom episode, and there were so many characters created just for that game, and this whole other world you got to explore. You know, you got to see Gary Gulper at the weather station, and actually get to interact and see who was behind the glass at the bus stop. Even Joey, the cable guy, was cool to talk to, and Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy getting drunk at the root beer place. It was so cool to actually explore more than just the bus stop of Rock Bottom.
My God. Mermaid Man, that game though gave me nightmares. Like there's just something so disturbing about how passed out drunk he was to me as like a 6-year-old.
I just remember him going, "Whoopee, I want my whoopee," and he's sitting there like patting his stomach and like rolling back and forth.
There's just
drunk on the fucking pavement of the parking lot.
Fuck? Literally just lying on the road.
What the
in the parking
kind
lot.
of game is this? I've never seen any. I mean, I'm ignorant to the world of obscure SpongeBob games for the most part, so I have never seen gameplay. Just so it's out of context, it's like, oh yeah, freaking Mermaid Man's drunk in Rock Bottom, just sitting on the concrete, I had too much evil root beer. Like,
that's like I think that's something he says to. He was like, him and Patrick had a root beer drinking contest. He's like, it was big and evil and pink, and he had a belly of iron. He's just sitting there rocking back. I think it was Joe White. Joe White, like it was in Battle for Bikini Bottom. I can't confirm that, but I think it was Joe White doing it.
That would make so much sense to me because Joe White's Mermaid Man voice, there's something about it that's always like irked me. I don't know what it is. Like I never cared about
fact that he's doing a fake old man impression.
I get that, honestly.
It's literally
Ernest
probably
Borgnine, I love, and his voice is so iconic. It's very hard to even try to, replicate it in any kind of way, but at least when he did Crabs, I can accept it and move along with my life. With Mermaid Man, it's like you gotta go a little bit harder than just some generic old guy. This is just how Ernest Borgnine has sounded since at least 1964. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's just like other than that, I mean, Mermaid Man in these games has always been a very weird contention point for me. I don't know what it is about his portrayals in all these games, but it just never sounds right to me compared to the show. Like, it bothers me like 10 times more than Mr. Krabs and Battle for Bikini Bottom did. There's just something very strange about my brain, the way that it like digests all that.
Was Ernest Borgnine, Mermaid Man, and Truth or Square? They had one voice for him. I gotta have to look it up on IMDb, but it was one person who was not Joe White that played Mermaid Man in one of the games, and it just sounded like, why couldn't you get this guy in every other game?
I don't know.
Money.
But
money.
Money.
Hello, I like money.
Zach or Dave, have you ever even heard of Employee of the Month?
I mean, I've heard of it through you, but yeah, I'm just letting you guys know. This is going to be I think this is going to be a very heavy writers and jest discussion, and Dave and I will chip in every now and again.
We'll just
sit back here.
We got to easy this episode. We got to easy this episode.
So much. I don't get to talk about these things very often.
You two get to carry the episode. This is all on you.
I don't
no pressure.
get to say anything. Nobody knows these games, and now I'm in a room where I can let it all rip, and I'm like, I'm gonna walk away feeling like an asshole.
It's funny that I've never played most of the SpongeBob PC games, because growing up, when my parents were trying to figure out what video games to get me, it would always be the licensed video games, but they never picked up any of the licensed video games for PC.
You know what's funny? I think I've played more licensed games than actual like games. Like if you look at my library, like all my GameCube games and Wii games and Wii U and all, like everything is more centered to like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network type games than anything else. Like, if it wasn't,
I'm kind of the same.
I love licensed games. I love licensed games.
There was something about them that stuck with me, and I guess my parents kind of picked up on that too. I mean, I was always in front of the TV and whatnot, so if it was a show I watched and it was a game of it, Lord knows I had it.
I think I really appreciated that the games at the time tried to explore what the world would be like if you were to play as the characters, and they tried to create, which is why I like Battle for Bikini Bottom, and just these different types of SpongeBob games all given their own interpretation of Bikini Bottom.
I think that there's a lot of games that have come out in the last 10 years that are licensed games that just suck because they don't have that same sense of exploration and give a damn in making the game. And I don't even mean just like the really bad SpongeBob games. I mean like There was I never got into Steven Universe or Clarence or anything like that, but I remember there was this game that came out on like the 3DS and maybe another system where it was like Regular Show, Adventure Time, Steven Universe, and Clarence. And
Battle
Battle
Crashers or whatever.
And
Cartoon
I
Network.
got that game and I was like, all right, this could be fun. Because I remember when Cartoon Network Punch Out Explosion came out, I didn't watch some of the shows that were on that game, but I found myself really enjoying the characters through exploring their worlds and hearing the voices and seeing their moveset. But when it came to that game, it just felt so, this fucking sucks. Because I didn't feel like I was exploring anything.
That's also a reason.
Yeah.
That's a reason why Cartoon Network dropped Game Mill entirely, because Game Mill published that game. They used to work with Cartoon Network publishing their games, but after that bombed, I think Cartoon Network just said nope, and then Nickelodeon picked them up.
I really don't know what happened to licensed games after like 2010, but there just has not been anything good. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot of cartoons to even choose
I can
from,
have a guess. I could take a guess.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pin the blame on Activision, because Activision quite literally was the company that most people went to when it came to licensed properties. And whenever they made a game, they were just like, oh well, we could just make a quick buck and move on with our lives. And I feel like a lot of companies that produced licensed video games look back at the games that Activision did and use that kind of same philosophy, that it doesn't need to be as perfect or as great as the early 2000s licensed video games because it's for kids. But like I feel like if your mindset is that, then why not just try to make it the best that it can be? Because like it's honestly disheartening. It's really disheartening to see licensed video games these days.
It's really sad to see what they've become, because at one point they were so much more, and I really think the height of it was 2000 to 2010. Because I mean, look, anything before 2000 there wasn't a lot going on with licensed games to begin with. I mean, they were all mostly 2D at that point anyway, but you know, there was such a amazing magical thing about the way they were made in the 2000s that just so sadly died out what feels like forever ago, and it's starting to be longer that it's been dead than it was around, which is horrible.
Yeah. I mean, there's still sparsely coming out licensed games here and there. I mean, like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl has kind of made a bit of a splash. That's really cool to see. Multiverse has also kind of made a splash when it came out. So mostly fighting games, but maybe we'll see.
Fighting, yeah. I mean, THQ is slowly starting to pick back up.
I wish doing a new Ninja Turtle game.
You know what I wish for these kinds of games coming out? Like All-Star Brawl 1 could have been so much more, and it's so amazing. I love that game. I'm very proud to say I had a hand in that, and I was the main driving force for getting Hugh Neutron even in front of the eyes of Game Mill to get on that game. Yeah. And it was such a fun time with that whole campaign, and the whole fan base was so passionate about it, because the developers really cared about the game, but Nickelodeon's got to have their hands out of the fucking pot when it comes to making these things, because All-Star Brawl 2 luckily had a chance at a comeback, and I think it did a very good job at that comeback, but they didn't have enough time where things weren't fleshed out with their online mode, and there were character choices I think they could have done better with, and I'm sure Nickelodeon had a huge part in, fucking up where they shouldn't have been fucking up.
I mean, that whole DLC pack, that first DLC pack is definitely all corporate
I can understand like
There's
Zuko, and I can understand Krabs. I think Krabs is a great pick. I think we already have a lot of avatars. I mean, we already have one firebender, but Zuko at least makes sense. Iroh and Rocksteady is just that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And
I don't understand. I don't understand Iroh. I know we're talking about All-Star Brawl right now, but the thing about Iroh that irks me the most is in the show, while he can be a fighter, his character at heart isn't really a fighter. He's more of the wise person that gives you advice on how to go about things.
To be fair, this is also the game series that has Hugh Neutron and freaking a Gertie from freaking Hey Arnold. I don't think there's.
Well, see, I could see Gertie.
I
makes
like
sense.
Gertie as a character
sense.
pick. I think that's an amazing pick. I think that she was probably, she replaced better picks, but I think she's a fun pick.
For sure,
Hugh was a really fun pick, and working with Mark DiCarlo to make that happened and running Hugh Nation, that was one of the coolest things in my life because you made the impossible happen kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Did Nickelodeon say, we got a better idea for the Hugh for this game? It's Grandma Gertie, and we're going to get rid of the most, demanded characters and put in X, Y, and Z. And I think there were some amazing choices, like LT Gray being in a game like that. That's fucking huge to me.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I was hoping it would happen, but I wasn't expecting it. But I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
And then, seeing
sure.
there was opportunity to bring Hugh back or add Sandy or another Rugrats or just or hell, even like Otis or any other show that's not already represented on the lineup. And now we have the 3 most saturated shows having characters and only 2 of them make sense. Like, how does that happen? Like, I like to hope that I bought the pack in hopes that'll help support Game Mill and Woodacity get to the second pack and they do a better job. But something tells me they're gonna not sell enough because you'll sell Iros, you'll sell Zuko's, you'll sell Mr. Krabs's, and probably mostly Krabs, some Zuko, not enough Iroh, and no one's gonna buy goddamn Rocksteady because who the fuck is Rocksteady?
No one cares about Rocksteady.
Like, I'm really glad they took time to look at the list.
When you
You just made a bunch of
TMNT, you don't
80s
think
kids mad.
Rocksteady.
You made a bunch of 80s kids mad with that statement
Good,
right there.
I'm glad. Fuck
I'm
you
just-
if you were
I'm
born in
being-
the 80s.
I think a lot of TMNT fans are in agreement. When you think of TMNT popular villains, Rocksteady's like at the very bottom of that list.
There's a lot of
it's
other
kinda-
options they could have had there. A lot of other options, and they went with, what's the worst thing we could come up with? Oh, wait a minute, I got it. A fucking rhino.
Anywho.
They could have done something like Superfly to promote the new fucking movie.
Anything would have been better. I'm just... At least... See, Krabs is going to happen at the beginning of the year, and then Zuko's going to happen next. And then after that, all the hype's going to die, I'm afraid. Like, if they had a better character at the end of the year...
It's gonna be another. It's gonna be just like All-Star
They
Brawl
started with the
1,
most
where they
hyped
come out with
character,
2 big hits,
and then the second most hyped character, and then Rocco. I love Rocco, but I was so excited to get Hugh that by the time Hugh was gone, I was like, "This is great." But I also
they didn't even care about Rocco when they released him either. They were just like,
full disclaimer, I had access to Rocco months in advance when I got access to Hugh, and I was maybe I'm just biased because of that, but I was well done with my Rocco phase by the time it came around.
I'm gonna make a statement. I think officially, midway through the episode, we should officially change the topic of what we're talking about this episode. I think
it's fine. It's like it's a SpongeBob Palooza at the end of the day.
I'm
So
sorry we're going off topic. I'm
Tunes
just really
holiday.
passionate about
most of this stuff is going to get cut into shorts
you
anyway.
guys out there, listen, no offense to you guys, I could give a rat's ass about Nickelodeon games, just being completely honest. So I'm just saying, you know what?
What kind of...
Listen,
What the fuck are you?
listen, I know I talked about SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, and I know I talked about Cosmic Shake, and I like licensed games as a whole. I love SpongeBob, and some of these games are certified classics.
I think we should
This
talk...
is where,
The fire has started.
The fire has started.
We haven't even made it to the second
You know
hour
how
of the
many people
podcast.
came into my comment
How do
section
I kick
after-
Zach out of the call?
You know how many people came into my comment section after we covered Rehydrate, like after all the Rehydrated hype died down, and like I think All-Star Brawl 1 was coming out. You know how many people were nagging me in my comments to cover that game, and I had to literally be like, I don't care, and I felt so bad. Some people were like, you're losing touch with your viewers. I'm like, I've always said I only care because Battle for Bikini Bottom is a game I grew up with. That's why I'm covering it.
You hear this fucking guy? I can't believe it.
So
This is why your fans hate you, Zach.
All
This is why I
right,
hate you.
we're gonna move on.
Okay. Let's
So
talk.
maybe we could do a Nickelodeon follow-up episode at some point.
Bring me back for
but
that one because
good
I
discussion
love
nonetheless.
Nickelodeon crossover games. That could be a whole episode.
Good discussion nonetheless, because I think like these are all like really fun points to discuss as well. And like, this is kind of like a chaotic SpongeBob episode anyway. So why not throw some Nickelodeon in there?
Hell yeah.
Why not?
exactly.
Yeah.
Before we move on to another game, I know we kind of touched upon Operation Krabby Patty, so I kind of just want to make a quick mention of that here. If I'm being honest, I have not played that game like in over a decade.
I played it last
because
week.
even as a kid,
It's just really good, guys. I don't care what anybody says. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree. Even as a kid, I didn't like it. I will say the only thing I remember from the game is the really strange portrayal of Squidward.
Are we about to get into another argument?
I'm about
in some of the cutscenes. Have you all seen that?
I'll
Like,
grab some popcorn. We can chill.
have you seen that viral clip of Squidward?
The one where he rips
when,
off
like,
his
he's
head
like talking to.
and he becomes other characters? Yeah. Cause it's
Yes,
really me!
that clip. That clip. We need to. I wish I could show you guys the clip right now because it is one of the most strange SpongeBob pieces of media I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot for
That
SpongeBob.
clip is always stuck with me. I didn't think it was weird growing up because I was like, oh, this is just funny, but it's for some reason just always stood out to me. I love the cutscenes.
When the game came out,
the cutscene
it came out
models
like
are so funny looking, and I don't know why, but I just want to get my hands on them so I could play with them.
Writers is pulling it up.
It's so funny.
I just want to make sure you all kind of like know what we're talking about.
No, I know what you're talking about because it's just like, no, I'm actually Patrick, and he pulls off another mask.
The anchovy? Oh, now I'm really confused.
I don't think this is.
They had to have been under the influence of something when making that.
I don't know, but the gameplay is super
That
simple.
sums up the show.
But the music is the absolute best thing in the world to me. I use it in all my videos. This is so iconic. All of it is composed so well for no reason. Even if it's like a lot of it is just repeating the same beats and whatever the fuck. It is so good, and it matches so many moods of the videos that I recreate. And I don't know. I can always hear that music and think of good memories playing it. I can think of the level mechanics and doing these different things. And it's just so much fun.
All right, you guys will have to watch that afterwards, but it is very strange.
God.
So, but I mean, like,
My favorite track.
Yeah, to me, it was like I did not find the games to be that fun when I was a kid. I think it's because I played it after Employee of the Month. I'm just like, I just want another Employee of the Month. That's what I really wanted.
This was the very first SpongeBob PC game, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they used these same cutscene models for Employee of the Month.
Yes, they did. They do look exactly the same.
There were two other SpongeBob PC games I played a lot of, and there was Battle for Bikini Bottom PC and Lights Camera Pants PC.
Lights Camera Pants
PC is actually my favorite version of the game. I'm not a big fan. I just never really got into the console version of it. I really liked. I see Zach over here like
finally a game I can contribute to. I mean, not the PC version, but I can talk about Lights Camera Pants. That's one that I know.
Okay, but I don't like that one, so we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the PC one.
So this is very interesting because
I
have never heard this opinion. If I'm being honest.
I do not like the console version that much.
Wow.
I don't know why. I don't know.
Wow.
Then there's not you can't bring up an argument and then not provide an explanation as
When
to
I
why.
think of
Is it
Lights
the
Camera-
graphics? Is it the mini games?
When I think of Lights Camera Pants, I think of the PC version. I don't even think of the console version first. I like games that have stories and things you get to like do and explore the world. Party games, sure, there's a story to that game, but it was never as intriguing because.
So it's the genre. It's because
It's
of the
the
fact that
genre,
the party
I guess,
game, it's
yeah.
linear. It's
It's not that it's a
That
bad
makes
game
sense.
per se. It's just when I think of Lights Camera Pants, my definitive version is the PC one.
I mean, you're wrong with that opinion, but I can understand your point of view.
Well, you're wrong for being
I have
alive.
played both versions. I have personally played both versions of it, and I will say I do appreciate the PC game because it gave me more of that like Employee of the Month like gameplay that I was missing, and so I actually I played the movie game PC version for the first time before I tried out that one, and I was like, oh my god, it's exactly what I wanted, like more Employee of the Month, like let's go. So more of that like point and click gameplay. I don't feel like it was done as well in Lights Camera Pants personally though. Like it just felt a little more rushed compared to those other two games. Just my opinion.
I feel like I could go either way with that because Lights Camera Pants, it's a much bigger game. Like I feel like I could run through, like I could do a speed run and play through of Employee of the Month and be done really quickly. if I just
Yeah.
click through all the audio because I know where everything is. Where Lights Camera Pants, there's so much of like you have to go back to different locations and go all around the
Yeah.
map and unlock things and look for props. Like it really makes you think. Like it's not just the simple point and click, run through the game kind of thing where a toddler could play it. Even that being said, it's still a fun game, even if a toddler could play it. But
Yeah.
Lights, Camera, Pants, I don't know. That game took me a lot longer to find everything and unlock all the actors and whatnot.
Does that game have the shark from the console version?
Yes, it does have Gil Hammerstein. And I think Gil...
Okay.
He looks entirely different,
I think
though.
his voice is
I feel
better
like.
in the PC version than the console version, too, I'm going to be honest.
So he looks completely different and his voice is completely different.
I don't
Nah,
think-
that's not him. That's imposter.
No,
That's imposter.
He doesn't look different.
No.
He doesn't look different. I don't know why you...
Yes, he does. I think
Put
he
them
does.
side by
I mean,
side on the screen right now. I will look at this in the chat, but you guys can look at it here. Zach, are you the one editing this?
No, Ryder's
I
is.
was going to make you
Riders,
track it to
Riders.
my finger. If Zach's not doing it, I don't care. Dave, I wanted Dave to do it. I like making Dave's life harder. That's it.
I'm not gonna be able to edit this one. So
Yeah. I will say that one last point about the PC version Lights Camera Pants. It has the best Mrs. Puff model ever. Here's what she looks like.
Yeah, that is
The best interpretation of Mrs. Puff.
That is nightmare fuel.
You know what's a PC
The
game
best.
I did not enjoy as much as the console version? Maybe it has something to do with I didn't grow up with this one. I don't know why. The SpongeBob movie game PC point and click game. For some reason, that one I didn't have my hands on it till later in life, and I enjoy playing
Yeah.
it. I like it because it's not directly based on the movie linear, like word for word, so to speak, verbatim. But it gives you new locations and new characters, which I can always appreciate and enjoy. But for some reason, I just never clung to that one the way I did with Battle for Bikini Bottom or Lights, Camera, Pants on PC.
So I had a different experience. I really did not care for Battle for Bikini Bottom PC, and I did play that one as a kid. But I played the movie game PC when I was older, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's because it reminded me so much of Employee of the Month. So just got a real nostalgic rainbow flushing over me when I played that one. But
I can see
Lights
it.
Camera Pants Lights Camera Pants was still fun. It was one big interconnected world compared to the other two games where you had separate levels and stuff to go through. So I can kind of see how that one felt bigger. I think I just prefer the level structure personally. I like the more contained adventures. I think it's just a matter of personal taste.
I guess that's a part of why I like Battle
as-
for Bikini Bottom on console, because there was a lot of times you'd have to take powers you'd learn back to other
Yeah.
levels, and I like revisiting and then jumping all over the place and trying to figure out puzzles and things like that. So the more linear, the less
I'm
fun.
a little different. I don't like backtracking constantly, and there are a couple games I've played where that is a major issue. But we'll approach those topics in future episodes, I'm sure. But let's get into the console version of Lights, Camera, Pants, because I know Dave and Zach can contribute to this.
This one I don't have much to say on. I like the
My
cutscenes,
cup
that's all
of
I
tea.
got.
So, I actually am very deep into making a video about Lights, Camera, Pants right now, because I believe it is the best party game to ever exist.
You are wrong with that, but what I
Yeah.
will say, it's the best licensed party game to exist.
It is the best party game.
No,
just
you're talking to the Mario Party guy. I will not accept this argument. It is a great party game for licensed games, better than any of the other party games for other licensed IPs. So that, yes, of all time.
I'll give my spiel, and then we'll
it's
just kind
all right.
I'll give my spiel on why I think that is. I just think that with licensed games, we've kind of been talking about them this whole hour so far. But what makes a licensed game really work is the way that it takes the licensed property and interprets it for a video game. And of course, we've seen many examples of licensed games just not really giving a care as to how they're adapting a game, adapting a franchise to a game. We could have had just a basic party game with boards and like really short mini games, and you just slapped SpongeBob characters on it, and it could still be really bad because it doesn't have like the personality of SpongeBob, it doesn't have the world building of SpongeBob and such. I really like the way Lights, Camera, and Pants approached the SpongeBob franchise because it approached it in a way that really made sense for the show. Because instead of like having like a board, you know, and like short mini games like you would expect for like a typical party game, what it does is that it makes you go through a whole campaign mode where you're playing SpongeBob characters that are auditioning for a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy special. And so not only do you get to like visit these SpongeBob locations and, you know, play through these challenges and get to like meet all these other SpongeBob characters like Bubble Bass, Kevin, some random shark at the prison, Old Man Jenkins. You get to see the direct result of how you play these games by seeing, you know, this character win this role, you know, at the Krusty Krab, or this character win this role at the Chum Bucket. And at the end, it all comes together. You get to watch, you know, what you and your friends create together, which was a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy special starring the characters that you played as throughout the campaign. And so I just think that was such a great way to adapt SpongeBob in particular, because you could have totally gone the typical route of going, okay, let's have a party board that takes place in downtown Bikini Bottom, or a party board that takes place in Rock Bottom. And, you know, it still would have been a pretty fine game, you know, probably. But I just like the way that they just kind of wanted to do something a little different with Lights, Camera, and Pants, and, you know, gave us, you know, something that makes sense for a TV show. And because of the way that they did it, we got to see cutscenes that could probably fit into, you know, the show at the point that the game was released. And that is my spiel. I think the game exudes so much charm, and ultimately that charm really just takes it from me. That's what it is about party games for me. It's like if it transports me into a world and helps me have a good time, then like I'm really into it, you know? And Lights, Camera, Pants just does that for me in a way that no other party game does. So that's my spiel.
I get that. I do agree that I think the way the game is structured helps it in the end. Because I feel like if they did go for that Mario Party-esque board gameplay with mini games, whatever, it becomes one in many. Like, Disney did it, Sonic did it, like, everyone was really doing it at the time. The fact that it tried something new and it actually worked, the mini games were all pretty dang fun. There's a couple that are stinkers, but like every party game has those. And the structure, I think the story, like, the one issue with the story is that it's not long, but like if you're playing a party game with a friend, or with friends, it is on the longer side, so it is harder to kind of stick it through and like see the whole story come to a close with friends, because like no one really wants to play it that long. But it is satisfying when you do so, seeing all the cutscenes at the end come together. It is like really good it's really fun to play. It is really satisfying. It's just that for me, being that I am so used to the Mario Party games, it is apples to oranges. They are very different beasts in terms of party games. So Mario Party just has things that it does differently that I just happen to like more, which is why I can't even like begin to compare it to those games. But like for licensed games, honestly, for a multiplayer experience, it would be my go-to above anything like Nicktoons Unite or any of the other Nicktoons games, or like anything multiplayer wise. Lights, Camera, Pants is a definite go-to.
Yeah. What about you, Dave? You have anything to say about Lights, Camera, Pants?
I thought it was really creative with the mini games.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's about it.
We did a whole stream playing this game. Was it a year ago now? Maybe.
I don't remember this stream at all. I'm being honest.
Nah, I remember Jess saying something really funny that like I was dying laughing for like 20 minutes or something like that.
What did I say?
I will say,
we're talking about the
Mermaid
time
Man's...
that we did a live stream. Because I remember a lot of funny live streams that we did. That one for the.
Oh my God.
It was for the. Was it Jess
here for that? I thought it was just us three.
I wasn't here for.
Was it just us three?
The Lights, Camera, Pants stream. I was there for the giving away prizes at the Cosmic Relief one.
Right.
That one I remember laughing a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, good times. We'll have to do it again soon.
That one was fun.
Was
that this year?
What's that?
No, it was last year.
No, Cosmic Relief was this year. It was in January, wasn't it?
It was in like January.
God, this has been a long ass year.
right before Cosmic
I
Shake.
thought it was December of
No,
last year.
it was-
No, we did it around Cosmic Relief. Cosmic
oh my
Shake's
Wow,
release.
god,
okay, okay.
this has been a really long year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that game also came out this year. So this year was definitely
shit.
a year.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, Lights, Camera, Pants. I mean, yeah, it's kind of tough to compare it to Mario Party because
it's a solid party game. I like, again, how the story is crafted, competing for different spots, and the overarching story is really fun. It's got a lot of personality to it, and yeah, it does take the party genre in a quite different direction than you would expect it to.
Yeah, I just really appreciate it when a licensed game like actually tries to like make the show like adapt the format of the game to fit the show rather than the other way around. And that's something that's a lot harder to do than said. And so I really appreciate Lights, Camera, Pants for like really doing that and finding a way to adapt SpongeBob in a way that really helps the show's qualities like shine through. And that's why I like the point and click games so much too, because you literally get to walk through an episode of SpongeBob through those games. And so that's like another really great genre for SpongeBob, because you get to literally live out these characters' lives like in a what's a really short but really effective game in my eyes. So those are always like my favorite SpongeBob licensed games, and one that really like understands the show and like uses identity to craft a great game. And
Speaking of,
Yes.
I actually do want to transition to the next, like the game that I actually do think, like, I think this one is really underrated. It's on our list, and it's the only other one that I know anything about. So whenever people talk about like SpongeBob games, I never hear people talk about Squiggle Pants. I never hear people
I
talk
love
about
yeah.
Squiggle Pants.
I love that
I
one.
love that
I
one.
love
It
it.
packed. I love WarioWare, so naturally I'm gonna be
Yeah.
gameplay-wise, I'm gonna be drawn to the game. But it drew so much charm in from the show. I mean, you have Patchy the Pirate being the host of the game. All the mini games, and even like the things are styled like there's a hash singing slasher one. Like it's all themed perfectly around the show, and it understands the source material.
Can I just
And
say
it's
really
just
quickly? I don't
so
want to cut you
fun.
off, but the Patchy the Pirate
No,
thing.
you're good. You're good.
So cool to me, because when I was 9 years old and I got my 3DS, that was the game I got with my 3DS on my birthday. And at that point, handheld consoles were not as advanced as the 3DS has gotten. And when I popped this game in, and there was like a video of Patchy the Pirate doing things I was like, oh my
that's
god, I
great.
can watch things on my 3DS in the game. Like there's a video in the game, and I was like, for some reason that blew my mind, and that has stuck with me since day one.
well-
I don't know why, but it was like, I'm hooked. I didn't need to see anything else. I was hooked at that point.
Well, before that, all we had were the Game Boy Advance episodes. Like you put like the episodes, like 2 episodes on the Game Boy Advance, and they ran at like 3 frames per second. But they had full motion video of Patchy the Pirate on the 3D. Like it was originally out on the Wii for the U-Draw tablet, which I never played that one. But the 3DS one, like you can see what you're doing, and it's like it's so good on the 3DS. I can't speak for the Wii though.
I played it on both, and the Wii is very good. It's practically the same game that it is on 3DS, except with the draw tab when it's on the TV. But there's some games you can't play like with you like blowing out the candles kind of thing, because there's no microphone for that. So it's a little bit of a downgrade with those limitations, but it is overall just such a solid game, and I like being able to see it on the big screen. It's just like you were saying before, with all the different themes too, and all the games curated around these themes, like B-movie theme and sketchy looking theme and superhero comic book theme. Oh my god, it is like, I wish WarioWare was more like this game. It was so cool having all these different, like they must have brought in so many artists just to do these different. I can't even find the words. It's just breathtaking how well the game is made, and all the cool designs and different interactions with the characters and all these different styles. It's just, I'm literally just talking in a circle now, but that's just how much I love it. I can't say enough good things about it, and that's all I really gotta say.
I will say the game kind of reminds me of Creature from the Krusty Krab in the sense that like it incorporates so many like weird art styles and stuff and throws it into SpongeBob. So it's kind of like the opposite of Lights, Camera, Pants, like what I was talking about, where like the game really like fitted itself to kind of fit the show. Like I feel like the show was like stretched into lots of different art styles for Squiggle Pants, It was also stretched into like different like genres and art styles for Creature from the Krusty Krab. I feel like Creature from the Krusty Krab was kind of like up and down in terms of like that. But I like SquigglePants a lot because, you know, it brought SpongeBob to all sorts of different kinds of like art styles, environments and such, but in like very bite-sized like moments that they don't ever like overstay their welcome. And it's also fun, you know, it's like a WarioWare, WarioWare styled game. I lost my train of thought completely. That is such a tongue twister. What the hell? It's
a WarioWare type of styled game.
It was fun, you know. I had a lot of fun with it. I will say though, I did not like play on the Wii U. That U-Draw tablet did not work for me. Maybe I did get it used, so maybe it was like defective, but I feel like half of the games did not register my inputs.
Really?
So I switched over to the 3DS when I was like, this is so much better. Everything I'm doing is working, and now I'm having fun with the game.
Well, when the game and the hardware function together, usually is quite a magical thing. So,
yeah. So I totally am agreeing with y'all. I just did not have a good time to Wii U. Like that U-Draw tablet thing is trash to me. I don't care.
Bit of a side note, but speaking of the U-Draw tablet, have any of you played Penguins of Madagascar, Dr. Bullhole's Return on the U-Draw tablet? Because that was... I don't know why they made it so it had to work with the U-Draw tablet, but I still enjoyed my time with it. It was a fun game. I know it's not at all related to this, but it was fun.
THQ made the U-Draw tablet, right?
I think so.
I wonder if that's a reason.
I think they did, actually.
That's probably the reason they went bankrupt.
I think that's why they went bankrupt. Because then after it did well on the Wii, and then it did bad on the PS3, so they put it on Xbox, I think, and it did even worse there. I could be making this all up in my head, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They're like, okay, it worked. Okay, it failed. Let's do it again.
Yeah. I mean, they probably went bankrupt for a lot of reasons, but the U-Draw tablet, I would imagine, is one of those reasons. Because, I mean, a third-party accessory doesn't really pan out well for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean,
it depends.
when it comes to the Wii, the Wii always had like a ton of third party.
That's why it worked for the Wii and not PS3, which is where they tried to market to the
Yeah, when it came to other consoles, it didn't really work as well. But with the Wii, it was right in its ecosystem.
And even so, though, like with things like the U-Draw tablet, like with other accessories, you could use them on a wide array of games. The U-Draw was specifically for these U-Draw games.
Right,
so you had to get the peripheral and the games. Like, most of the accessories are just convenient because, like, oh, there's a steering wheel. Well, I have, like, Mario Kart or Hot Wheels or whatever. Like, it'll work.
Yeah.
For that, it's like, oh, you need the U-Draw and you need SpongeBob SquarePants and Blowhole's Revenge or whatever the fuck that's called. Like...
Dr. Bullhole's Revenge, yes, good, you got it right. I don't have to kill you for butchering the name.
Oh, shit, you got it right?
Yeah.
So they were, like, doomed from the start, because who else was going to make games for that except THQ?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think it was that way.
I think that's what they were thinking. I think they were thinking that, you know, if SquigglePants took off, then they could just keep making exclusive games for that peripheral.
I can't. What a stupid decision. I'm glad we got SquigglePants out of it, but like, come on.
Yeah, I'm glad. SquigglePants I will say though, another good note for SquigglePants. I love small detail, but as a horror fan, I love this. The set of games where it's Squidward running away from the hash-slinging slasher. I think it is. Whenever you lose a micro game or whatever they're called in SquigglePants, it does like the thing like that, the violin. Like, I love that little detail whenever you lose a mini game. That is fun. I just thought I'd plug that in there.
There were a lot of great little sound design details and imagery and animations. That it just, I don't know. It didn't feel like it was rushed. It didn't feel like they didn't take their time with it. It was like one of the last amazing SpongeBob games of that time that just never got talked about enough, and I don't think it deserved that because it really was something special.
Yeah, and the thing is, people always complain, like with that game particularly, people are always like, oh, it's only like 2 hours long. It's all it really needs to be honest. Like, this 2 hour long game that has, you know, all this attention to detail put into it, fun mini games you can go back and replay. It doesn't need to be much. I mean, for a thing they have to, for the Wii version, like where you're buying a whole tablet, like, okay, yeah, you might want a little bit more. But like, as the game as a whole, like, I don't know, you don't need much more than that. You know, you get 2 hours of fun minigame gameplay out of it. There's like a drawing section.
Maybe I was too young to blow through it, but I don't remember it being so quick. But like you said, it doesn't need to be. And honestly, I remember playing WarioWare fucking whatever the one it was for the Wii U when you had to like smack the Wii pad down. I just remember doing that. That one I completed pretty quickly too in the story mode. And that's a WarioWare game. So
yeah, well, Game & Wario, which the one for the Wii U is a completely different beast. Yeah, that's a whole different beast. But yeah.
While we're still on the topic, I searched up U-Draw just out of curiosity, and you know, oh god, it was an absolute disaster for PS3 and Xbox 360.
Xbox. Okay, I'm not insane.
Because the chief financial officer for THQ just said that they had 1.4 million unsold units, and that was a primary reason for their revenue to shortfall of around 100 million total.
That sounds familiar.
It cost them $100 million.
Oof.
Yeah,
that is
very THQ
so sad.
of them.
I can't.
Very THQ of them.
I can't.
Also, I also want to point out that THQ didn't even develop Squiggle Pants. That was WayForward.
That's right. They did. Now that I remember that, I can see that on the box. I don't know why that stands out on the box art to me, but it does.
Did THQ publish the game?
THQ published it. THQ published it. So developers could use the U-Draw tablet, and THQ would publish it. But I mean, that's the only WayForward game that they made for the U-Draw tablet.
I was gonna say, because THQ mostly publishes games. They don't really develop many. Like Movie Game, Battle for Bikini Bottom, Cosmic Shake, none of them were developed by THQ. They're all developed by like Purple Lamp or Heavy Iron. Or
one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite, is Dreamy Neutron Attack of the Twonkies. And I think that was developed by THQ Australia. So I didn't even know they were different.
Yeah.
But does THQ Australia even exist anymore? Because I don't think I know any other game.
Not.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
When they're bought up by Nordic Games, they probably either did something else with the studio, like combined with something, or did something else, probably.
Yeah.
They also developed Lights, Camera, Parents. Fun fact. So.
Oh.
No.
So they got busy for a little bit.
All right, so what other games? What other games from the list are we going to cover?
Well, we can kind of stick to the same era, I think, because I think around the same time, a lot of SpongeBob games are coming out. Actually, like
I don't know if any of these came out.
I mean, I guess if we're talking about handhelds, we should move over to Drawn to Life. I don't know how many of you guys played Drawn to Life.
DS game I ever had. You know how cool it is as a kid to be able to become what you drew. It was like Scribblenauts, except instead of typing it, you got to draw. It was just so cool to make all these different things come to life. I never knew there was even a Drawn to Life before SpongeBob, which I guess this was the SpongeBob edition of it. So it was like extra cool to me. And you know, Doodle Bob was only in one episode at that time too, and this was a couple years after that. So seeing that kind of callback to older episodes too that I'm familiar with was just. It was cool. It was cool to see them incorporate things from the show. And like I said in the other games, I like it when they expand and make locations up. And I think they did that a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, with this game. So
yeah, they had some unique locations there. I personally don't remember playing through it all the way, but I love being able to go through a Drawn to Life game like this, and create your own character, and then like you could create your own characters like house or something like that. You could draw like a house, and then just again the whole Doodlebog being used as the main villain was so made for this game.
It was like the most
it's so awesome,
a DS kind of game I think I owned. Like sure, there's a lot of games that were made for DS, but I think a lot of the purpose of being on the DS was just so you could play it on the go. This one felt like you couldn't play it on anything else if it wasn't on some form of a DS.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
I think that's what
made
it really
makes
magic.
Sense.
While playing it, you had to use a stylus to move. Even I think.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. I know there's some game you have to use with them.
I mean, I think you could actually control it using the D-pad, but I think the stylus was used for not only just drawing. I think you had to actually use the stylus for certain things.
Used like erase bad guys and like, you know, get all the shit off of them to turn them back to normal and I think attack in some cases. I don't think I made it to the end of the game because I think it was too difficult for my childy brain to comprehend, but I remember for as much as I did play it, I really enjoyed it. and I'm not huge on 2D scrollers, side scrollers, even growing up. But there were a bunch that stood out to me that I just could never put down, like Mario 3, Drawn to Life, and Mario 3. So
good ones, classic.
That's right.
It stuck out to me, and I don't know what it was about it. I guess it was just the whole I got to create my world kind of thing, and you know.
Yeah, it definitely is the whole drawn to life kind of bit for me.
And SpongeBob meshed so well with that genre.
Being able,
you know, I can't imagine any other third-party kind of thing going hand in hand with Drawn to Life the way it did.
I mean, that's the thing. Any game that lets you basically do whatever the hell you want and be creative. I mean, things like, even nowadays, like Roblox and Minecraft, like, those are very popular because you kind of do whatever the hell you want in them. So having that plus SpongeBob, like, for kids, that's like ice cream with, like, extra sprinkles. That's like, yum.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Scribblenauts, I can't even tell you how obsessed with that series I was from game 1 to whichever one the last one was. I think it was the Unmasked. Like, just getting to have creative liberties in video games and making the story up. As someone who loves, I can't imagine these days doing anything but telling stories, even if there's stupid improv, you know, Roblox vor and shit and just horrible themes that are just all over Roblox. I just can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah.
So just being able to tell the story in your own way and solve puzzles with, you know, your hand in the pot. Like, not only is that just amazing altogether, but as a kid and having those kinds of abilities when maybe not everything in your life you get to control and have a say in, it's certainly something special, and it's certainly something that sticks with you. And I think that's why these kinds of games are so much more
it
than
definitely
just
provides
toys.
the concept of being able to do what you want, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll offer I'll offer a bit of a contrast to that opinion.
If you tell me this game sucks, I'm gonna kill you.
Well, I actually I played like 10 minutes of it and I stopped because I was bored. So it's so here's the thing. It's like, I love the idea.
You don't like drawing. You hate drawing. That's what it is.
Yeah, I actually hate drawing, so that's one thing. But another thing is okay, I love Doodle Bob being antagonist. That is perfect for a Drawn to Life game. Like, come on. It's literally like the most perfect idea you can think of. If there's a SpongeBob character that should be in Smash Brothers, it's Doodle Bob. Like, over any other character. But that's another discussion for another day. But the other thing is... I would have taken
Man Ray, but okay.
You can't look at this motherfucker any other way. What's wrong with you, Riders? Who hurt you?
Okay, but here's I do have a reasonable explanation. I think that
I'm so ready to hear
the idea of creating your own character and having them interact in the SpongeBob world is amazing. Like, of any world that you could explore in like entertainment medium, SpongeBob is by far like the most appealing world to like explore. Okay. Like, it's such a colorful, like,
I already know how I'm
get to the point where you don't
buttering you up. Yeah,
get to the part where you don't like it.
No. This is literally, I've made a video about this, I'm pretty sure. But like, it's literally like it's like the most expansive world in the world, and I love like being able to spend so much time in it. That's why I love SpongeBob games in general. Like, any game that's like even able to like somewhat successfully like adapt the SpongeBob world is like cake to me. I love it. So being able to like create your own character, but then having to play through like a generic 2D side scroller is kind of a
it was so anything but generic though. That's what made it better. That's what made it better. It wasn't generic. That, there was so many like special aspects to it.
You could do so many.
Listen,
dude, it's like you actually get to live through that episode where SpongeBob and Patrick get the pencil.
Yes. What is wrong with you, writers?
Here's my contrasting opinion. Why can't we have like an actual game where you can create your own character and actually live in Bikini Bottom, like doing all sorts of things, like a Sims-like game where you can like create your own character and live in Bikini Bottom and do what you want?
They did that on mobile and it flopped.
Well, because it was mobile.
Fair enough, it was on mobile. That's probably why it did flop. However, not a bad idea for a game concept. Also, however, fuck you. Anyone else?
I just think that like
if you're gonna make, especially for the DS, all right, if this were for the 3DS or any other handheld after the fact of being limited to the resources that they had, a 2D platformer had to have been done.
It makes sense.
There's
I
no,
think even on
there's
the
no
3DS,
other way of being able to do
on the
that.
3DS
because-
that it would have done well. It was just, someone who
Oh,
does
yeah, for
not
sure.
enjoy 2D platformers that much, or 2D side scrollers, that was just fun. I enjoyed it. Why do you hate people? What do you have something against
Every enemy that you defeat, you're able to design.
I didn't care for
You
it.
get to create certain things. You get to create characters throughout the story. They literally were like, "What if we took the episode with Doodle Bob and made it a playable game?" And I just love every aspect of
I think
that.
Ryder
It's just-
kicks puppies. I'm just gonna say it, guys. I just gonna say it.
This is what happens in every argument because I'm not willing to be like aggressive in my opinion. I just let you all like talk over me like I'm a sponge. Like, let me have my opinion.
Gotta be assertive, not insertive.
But like I said,
okay, but you kept the other day when we did the whole Smash Brothers movie argument, you kept looping back to one thing that we weren't even trying to say.
I
no,
watched
not
back
this
that
again,
thing.
not this again.
You all did not understand my point. I watched that entire thing, but that's
no,
another.
I understood your point, but you kept repeating yourself.
because you all kept. Okay, no. We're not gonna. That's left in the past.
I
No
wanna
more.
hear it.
So
You brought it up.
I want to hear it.
I didn't bring it up. It was Dave that brought
I
it
want to
up.
hear it. I don't know.
Yo, you can watch
Watch
episode,
the episode.
Jess.
It's
You can go
half
watch
an hour
episode.
long, section at the end. You'll find it.
Okay, sounds good to me.
It won't work.
But-
It won't work.
But like my points, I understand the limitations of a DS game and such. Like I'm not like bagging a game on that at all. But it's like, why can't we get like a fully budgeted like console SpongeBob
So,
Life
so wait,
simulation
let me
game?
get this right. You're shitting on this game because
I don't think it's fun.
because it's
It's not
not
the
the
game
game
that
that
he
he wants. Not.
It's also not fun.
But that's a completely different argument than what you're making. Let me just make that completely clear to you, because I don't think you even know what you just said. Because the entire point you're making right now is that it's not what you want it to be. You think my father
I
wanted me
think
to be
that's
the
a-
way I am? He's stuck with me.
You're saying that this
Enjoy
game
it.
sucks because it's not a game where you can create your own character and live in SpongeBob's world.
I just think it's such a waste of time.
I think you're a waste of time. I'm leaving.
like
invite
it's such
me
a
back.
half-baked like approach to it. It's kind of like if you're gonna do the idea, then do it right. Is my opinion.
They did
What
do
did
it
they do
right.
wrong? What could they have-
also-
what
hold on.
could they have done differently in this
Let me
year?
also contribute. Hold on. Let me also contribute that isn't this also an addition of an existing franchise? So Drawn to Life
Yes,
made
it
a
is.
SpongeBob.
It
so
is.
it's part.
Yes.
It's not like THQ
Yeah.
made a SpongeBob game into this. It's part of an already existing
Listen.
series.
Yeah, what the
You
fuck?
can like. It doesn't change the fact I just didn't have fun the game. Like that's just.
Well,
that's
we're not
just
saying
it.
that that's
you don't
not
like having
valid.
fun, that's
but
all
you're
I'm
saying.
saying
To you
that
why.
the main reason that you don't like this game is because they didn't take the concept and make it into something bigger with something that they could not legitimately do on the hardware at the time.
I mean, because it's the way that they limited it and such.
Oh my! What do you mean
So,
the way they
like,
limited
SpongeBob-
it?
The DS is limited.
The world limited it. It was the era.
I didn't like the game. I
Oh
just
my
don't think
fucking
that
God.
like it's a very like
What is Zach
it's not a
doing?
fun side scroller.
What is?
And I also like
is he
I
doing?
don't like having to draw something every like 2 minutes.
Why?
He's got like a box.
I
or
want to
something.
draw something. I just want to play the game. Like why do I have to draw
That
something
is
like
the
every 2
whole
3 minutes?
able to
deal of the
create something.
game.
It's literally
So
called
it
Drawn
literally
to
is
Life.
just it's literally just not for me then. Like I like the concept, but I just don't. It's not executed in the way I would have liked it.
Does Zach have like the Drawn to Life
Zach-
Switch game? Is that
Zach's
like what
having
he's
a whole other
holding?
side quest right now.
I mean, I don't have anything else to say. That's
sorry,
literally
what?
just my
You
stance on
can't
it.
shit on the game though if you don't like drawing, then you can't be like, I didn't like the game. That was all
is he
about
doing?
drawing. Like it's called Drawn to Life, so I thought I'd
Well,
like
you know,
it.
it's like
He's bringing a game case over.
it should have. There should have been like more for like people that didn't like drawing to like make the game more widely
game!
appealing.
But if you're buying a game
is
called
called
Drawn,
Drawn to
if you're buying a
Then
game,
this game is not for
called
me.
Drawn to
Why
Why
did
did
Life,
you
So I
get
can't
it?
say-
Why did you get it then?
Because I'm a SpongeBob fan.
Motherfucker!
I'm trying to play through all these SpongeBob games.
Literally said a game called Drawn to Life shouldn't just be limited to drawing things.
I mean, I think the best games in the world are able to appeal to wider audiences.
Hold on.
I don't understand.
God.
Flashback to last episode. Games that try to appeal to everyone don't appeal to everyone at all because
they try too hard.
Okay, for real though, honestly, like you guys just gotta respect my opinion. I just didn't like the game. This is like
we're not.
I feel very
We're not
attacked
even
for my
rebuttaling
opinion.
an
I'm like
opinion.
not
We're
like
not even rebuttaling an opinion.
We're not
No,
respecting
no,
it. It's just
you are not respecting my opinion. I feel very attacked by Rat.
Drawn to Life.
You said
I didn't
that
like the
you
game.
Wish,
That's it. And I
said-
explained to you,
you said that you wish that the game had more appeal to people that didn't like drawing.
Because
But
I wanted to
the
enjoy
title
it.
of the game is SpongeBob Drawn to Life.
So I should just not have an opinion on it because I didn't like because it's not for me.
Yes?
I mean, if you feel that way, but like again, you said that a game about drawing shouldn't just have drawing.
It should have more than that.
It did.
Like
called
if it wants to
Drawn
be
to
like an
Life.
overall like good game, like it should have like more qualities to it that are appealing beyond the
I
drawing.
mean, I thought the gameplay was fun too. I mean, even if see, the thing is, you didn't even have to draw everything. I think. I mean, I remember there being like
I just
preset
felt
templates
like there was more than I
somewhere.
would've liked.
Maybe I'm misremembering. I know there was a template somewhere that you could draw over.
Yeah, you could use templates. If you didn't like drawing, you could actually use a template and fill it in.
I don't think it really mattered if you like drawing. I mean, you could just fill in every fucking thing with solid color and move on through the game if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just more frequently than I would have liked.
Wow.
That's my experience with it.
I mean,
I
that's
did
fair.
not
That's
see
fair.
Drawn to Life having this much heat.
You know, it's always
didn't
the
either.
weird random things that spark the discourse. It's always the weird random you don't expect it to happen. Like last time it was Sonic Colors when we were talking about Sonic Adventure. You never know what's going to happen in this podcast. All right, that's what we're here for.
It's true.
I mean, I feel like I was attacked.
You were
like I'm being very serious.
I mean, okay.
I'm being very serious. I felt very
came
attacked.
off as harsh. I feel like I did come off as harsh, and I do apologize. But
Like,
just
it's
the
just like-
statement didn't make sense because you said that you wish the game
'Cause
didn't
that's my true
have
opinion.
all. Okay, and that's a valid opinion. But when you're picking up a game called Drawn to Life in the title, and it lacked the feature of drawing,
I didn't
it kind
want
of
it to
just
lack the
doesn't
feature.
make sense.
I just wish it was more balanced as an experience.
I don't think you don't draw every 5 seconds though. That's the thing.
That's how it felt like to me. I think it's just because I really don't like
at
drawing.
the beginning of the
Like,
game, it's
even, like-
drawing heavy because by the time you get to the end of it, everything
I only
that
played like 10 minutes.
you have
so-
to draw the house and the character and the weapons you use to start the game. Like it has to start somewhere. You can't go in it with drawing nothing. That's the thing. By the
I
time
just,
you get
like-
halfway through the game, there's less to draw because you've already drawn so much it's already there. So maybe if you played it longer, you'd have a different opinion on it because I could tell you it's not just all drawing. But
All right,
in
and
respecting
that's
your
fair.
opinion, I will say it's kind of silly to think, as someone who does not enjoy drawing, that just because it says SpongeBob on it and ignoring the drawn to life part, you know.
I wasn't trying to ignore the
I'm
drawn
not saying
to
you
life.
tried to, but
am
let's try to
I'm
remember
trying to
that's
like
what it
play
is.
through like all SpongeBob games. I'm trying to like play through all SpongeBob games, and I want to have like an opinion like on every SpongeBob game. Like that's kind of like something that's like a really big part of my channel is playing through all these SpongeBob games. So I had to play both games I love, but also both games that like maybe probably aren't going to appeal to me. And so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh well, it's got drawing, so it's not for me, and like not have an opinion on it. Like that's not like
Okay, well,
my
if
inherent
you take
characteristic.
drawing out of the equation, what would your opinion be then?
I still don't think it's that fun because I don't think the side scrolling is that like fun. I don't like most 2D platformers. I don't even like most Sonic 2D platformers or most Mario 2D platformers. I could give a damn about like Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
I'm
So
in the
it's
same
like,
boat as you. Actually, Wonder was more fun than most platformers I've played. But this
So
game
it's
stuck
just
out
like
to me
a-
as more fun because it's different than all the rest. I think all the playing, the dynamic of the game and playing style is just so different and unique to it. That's what I find so good about it. I like the drawing aspect, but
Yeah.
I really think maybe you should try it again because I have nothing but good memories. Maybe it's nostalgia, and I'm not saying your opinion's not valid, but I am gonna say I really think there are things that in that game stand out above other 2D platformers. Because again, I'm in the same boat with you.
Right.
I don't like most, but this one did stand out.
Yeah, all right, yeah, and like I can respect that and stuff, but it's like I really did not like being attacked with that minion.
It wasn't meant to be an attack. I can promise you that.
No.
Yeah, no, but like I felt like I simply don't like drawing. I don't really like side scrollers. So that game wasn't like a combination of things that I would have enjoyed. And I also think that like I genuinely think that SpongeBob like full-blown life simulation game would be so amazing. Like that's like the genre that I think SpongeBob could really excel in. Like who doesn't want to like create their own like little fish and like talk to SpongeBob and friends and like, you know, grow relationships. Like maybe I want to be best friends with Squidward and I want to like, you know, hate SpongeBob with Squidward too and like do things that will upset SpongeBob, you know,
That's
things like
an opinion I can get behind. I think that could
I'm
be a
honestly
fun
shocked
thing
they
to
haven't-
you know, dive into.
I'm shocked they didn't do that because I mean, like in like the late 2000s, or even like mid 2000s, like when things were like Club Penguin and Pop Tropica and like all those kinds of games were really popping up. I know it's not like exactly like life simulator, but you know what I mean. Like you're living in a world and it's like a social kind of thing where like, everyone has penguins or whatever.
Technically, there was something for SpongeBob in the works, but they silently killed it off.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I have a video on like canceled SpongeBob games. I think it was called like SpongeBob Town or something like
There's
that.
a group of people. I don't know if they're still trying to bring it back.
SpongeBob Town.
That's a very creative
SpongeBob
name.
Town.
They should have definitely kept it.
There was like
I think it was a beta
there was
name.
a closed beta. It was a beta, but there was like a closed alpha or something that they let some people test, and then after the alpha ended, they just sort of
That's horrible that they got to a
working on
point where there was a closed alpha and they're like, yeah sorry, nope.
Scrapped.
Yeah,
But like you could make your own character. You could explore Bikini Bottom. You had your own you could grow a garden. You could race people in like a racing mode, stuff like that. There's footage of it online.
I don't know why shit like that doesn't just see through to the end, because that sounds like it could have been a fun idea in the right hands.
Money.
Yeah,
Money. Hello.
maybe it was a tax write-off, like how Warner Bros. Ended up canceling all their
Oh
shows.
god. Aren't they like in kind of deep water
Don't
for
get me
that one?
started
Aren't
on
they
them.
like in kind of like
Don't get me started on that one.
All right, I will say I probably only have time for one more game because I know we still have a couple left,
That's,
and I probably
yeah.
have time for one more.
Yeah.
So
Let's see.
what's
What do
the
we
one
have
should fish
here?
up on? Even though I won't be able to
I mean-
contribute, but you know, hey.
Which out of the last three that we have here is the most quirkiest of them all?
Probably.
I feel like
I only know Atlantis SquarePants is off the back of my head. I played Boating Bash like twice,
Yeah.
and Surf and Skate I don't think I've ever played, surprisingly.
Atlantis SquarePants is a very interesting game to me because it literally is just a hodgepodge of random shit.
I kind of like it though. I'm not gonna lie. I've only played through it
Yeah.
once. It was like a couple years ago maybe, and I was at my house upstate New York, and we have just the PS2 set up in one of the bedrooms, and we had it, and I was like, I'll give it a try. And it wasn't like my favorite game of all time. I can't say like I was eager to replay it, but I don't think it was a bad game. Honestly, it was what it was, and you know, again, nothing to write home about, but nothing I'm gonna go complaining about either. It was completely different than what we're used to in the SpongeBob genre, so that's what makes it stand out as weird to me. But also, kind of nice change of pace. It felt like a collection of mini games, but linear mini games. I don't know. I don't have too much to say about it. No bad memories with it. I can say that much.
Yeah. It's a collection of single-player minigames, which is the weirdest sense to say if you think about it.
Yeah, that is quite an odd idea. But
And what's really... The game was definitely a rush job, because half of the games are like those like rhythm button sequence minigames, but half of those games are literally just watching the characters walk around Atlantis. Like, and so it's literally the most boring thing I've ever done in a SpongeBob game. You know, just like pressing the button as they come on and just watching the characters walk around Atlantis and doing nothing. And that's like half of the game.
I think
so
the
it's
last not rush SpongeBob game we've ever had And I maybe you guys think it's rushed. I don't know. I think Truth or Square on console. I've never played it on anything else, but console is really good. I really enjoy it, and I think they did an amazing job with that. Everything else after that seems to have been on some sort of timetable. And Nickelodeon has just been stuck in their ways ever since.
I think that was on a timetable, to be honest, because it reused like half of its content from like Battlefield Bikini movie game, but like made like new levels from them, obviously. But it's like, you know how movie game literally came out a year after Battlefield Bikini Bottom, and it was all new content besides the models and the move sets. So I was like, why couldn't True for Square have like a similar like profile, you know?
I don't know. I feel like they repurposed it really good. Maybe that's just me. I played through it a couple times.
They made lemonade out of lemons, basically. You know, it's not like it's not like the most amazing game in the world, but it's a very solid platformer. And just because of how rushed all the other SpongeBob games are, it is one of the better SpongeBob games by default.
Yeah, I guess, you know,
in my opinion,
maybe that is the way, you know, rose tinted glasses kind of thing. And it's just looking on the bright side of what came after it. You know, maybe it seems better than it is just because it was followed up by such hot garbage.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Atlantis SquarePants, it's like, I can tell it was definitely a rush job because it reused all the models and even a lot of music from Creature from the Krusty Krab. And half of the mini games are extremely uninvolved. It's just like you doing like this really simple thing for like 5 minutes straight. And a lot of mini games get repeated. And it's just like, it's a game you can complete in like an hour and a half, I think. So it's even shorter than like Squiggle Pants, arguably.
So, you know, I've never played... Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. I talk a lot.
No, I was going to say, because I've never played this game. So is it like a story based game? Like, because the way this is sounding, this reminds me of. I mean, this is like because it's more so general licensed game knowledge. It sounds a lot like Shark Tale licensed game. I don't know if you guys
I've never
actually
played
it's
that one,
way.
surprisingly.
It kind of reminds me of that, where there's like it's a story and it's like kind of got different, because like there's mini games that are like single player, like there's the rhythm dancing ones, there's the avoid the shark ones, there's a stealthy one, like, you know, there's a bunch of kind of different mini games all kind of thrown in. I mean, I actually liked that game, Shark Tale. I thought it was pretty good, but like that's what it kind of sounds like to me, but like not as good as Shark Tale.
Shark Tale. Yeah, that's actually a really good way to describe Atlantis SquarePants. It's structured very similar to Shark Tale. Like the first level, you control Plankton in a tank who goes around Atlantis.
That's like the only thing I remember from the game. It's literally
he goes around shooting ice cream at everything in Atlantis. And then the second level involves SpongeBob and Patrick doing this like puzzle mini game, which is like 4 times longer than all the other levels in the game. Actually,
I feel like I remember the fucking ice cream shooting one being so much longer than all the rest. Maybe that's just because I was bad at it, maybe? I don't know. That one just felt like it dragged on for way too long. Either that or I was really bad at it. I just remember I was waiting so hard to get to the end of that level because I just wanted to play the other ones because that one just was not fun. Maybe I did have a bad memory with it after all.
So, yeah, Atlantis SquarePants is literally just a hodgepodge of like all those different things. Yeah. And yeah, it literally like... I don't know why they greenlit that game. Atlantis SquarePants really did not need a game.
No.
I could understand True for Square because that's kind of like it was kind of promoted as like a monumental episode for SpongeBob, you know, on its anniversary, you know, looking back on its history and such. The game was a better celebration of SpongeBob than the episode was.
I don't mind the episode. I actually like it. I don't know why everyone gives it such shit. I know everyone just has a huge problem with every episode that ever happened in season 6, but I don't know. I liked it.
I don't think the episode itself would have been like received so badly if it wasn't like the anniversary special.
Yeah, maybe,
like if it was just another SpongeBob episode, it would have been just like another SpongeBob episode. But because it's an episode that really like marketed itself as being like a nostalgic like celebration of SpongeBob, and it really wasn't that at all. Like even going as far as using flashbacks of events that never happened in SpongeBob, it just left a very like weird taste in my mouth as a high schooler who was already trying to get over SpongeBob. Like I was like, hey guys, I am a grown-up now. I like Assassin's Creed and Batman. Let's go. What's a SpongeBob? I don't know what that is. That was me in high school.
Me in high school was always pushing on people that I know everything about SpongeBob, and for some reason I thought that was going to make me cool, but instead I'm just an idiot. You know what? I gotta say that the 20th anniversary special did do it
That
justice.
was solid.
That was solid as fuck.
That was so
It was
good.
by far one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. They just did that so good.
Like, they didn't really need to reference any old things in there. They just kind of like took SpongeBob and Patrick through like a very like fun celebration to show's history. And, you know, seeing like the actors play like the actual characters is a really nice treat.
You know,
So-
did you ever hear about what Clancy Brown had to say about what it was like doing that?
No.
He said it was like having sex with the lights on. I thought that's an amazing way to summarize his experience.
I love
doing
Clancy Brown.
I love Clancy Brown. And I think Carolyn Lawrence is like, why didn't we do this 20 years sooner? Because they all apparently had a really good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Apparently, Steve
like, I
Hillenburg
didn't-
was on the set of that. I did an interview with Doug Lawrence, and that was like one of the last things he was there for. So he knew about it, got to see it
Aw.
happening, and then
That's so sweet.
he just eventually stopped showing up to set. And I think they were filming it like around when he died, like day he died. It was like one of the last days they were filming. Don't quote me on that exactly, but I know it all happened all at once at that time.
Yeah. Oh, man. Rest in peace, Steven Hillenburg.
Oh.
We really do love you.
Yeah.
I think that's like the perfect way to end this. I feel like just with like saying like, oh my God, Steve. Okay, that's kind of a sad kind of.
I mean, SpongeBob obviously has had a lot of ups and downs in video games, as you can clearly see with this discussion.
Yeah.
But I think overall, when SpongeBob like does it right and is able to, you know, have his universe adapted successfully into a video game, it's got such magical results. Honestly, it's really great, and that's why like I will always be 100% honest on all SpongeBob games, and I will always push for better SpongeBob games, because I think that like when you have all the right ingredients in that pot and create like that perfect SpongeBob game, it's like it's gonna be one of the best games in the world,
Yeah.
like by far.
Agreed.
You know, like Battle for Bikini Bottom speaks for itself. You know, it's not even like the most impressive platform in the world, but because of the way it adapts SpongeBob like so well, it's a game that's has so much lasting impact. So I'll never shut up about SpongeBob games being able to do better, because if they actually do better, you're gonna have like some of the best games out there in the world, guaranteed.
Totally
So,
agreed.
That's my soapbox on
I
why.
mean, think about it though. Like, you know, like if they do better, I mean, like it was seen as like unprecedented and like unreal that Battle for Bikini Bottom, a licensed kids game from 2003, got a remake. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, you know, because like if they, even with these quirky ones, and you know, obviously we've talked about some good ones, some bad ones. Like, if they just like actually do more, and like honestly, I'd say make like, I mean, obviously. Like, not make less of them. I don't mean like less than you, but like don't worry about pushing out so many, because like a lot of these titles are from like obviously the early to mid 2000s, some of them in the late 2000s. Like they all came out like very like rapid fire, especially when we considered like different versions of like Battle for Bikini Bottom, with the GBA version being different than the console, being different than the PC. Like focus on making like fewer but really good ones, and like you can, I don't know, you can do some good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that's what they're doing, you know, with just having Rehydrated and Cosmic Shake so far with THQ Nordic. I kind of hope they are taking that approach and not just stopping the SpongeBob game.
I mean, say what you want about
Production.
Cosmic Shake, it's definitely an improvement over Rehydrated. So, like, I'm interested to see what they have
Oh,
next.
for sure.
I'm interested to see what they do next.
Yeah, I'm like, that game has a lot of potential. I mean, sure, it could have been more, obviously. And I don't know what their limitations were, because even though they did get like an increased budget from Rehydrated, obviously it still wasn't going to be like the next Spider-Man 2 or like the next Batman Arkham Knight.
for
you know?
sure.
I'm guessing there had to be a
So-
time crunch, specifically with like that third SpongeBob movie. Like, there must have been some sort of like time crunch where they need to get it out in a certain amount of time.
I
after
just
the
hope
movie.
that Nickelodeon learns to keep their hands out of the pot when it comes to making things that they have no idea what they're doing. You know, have
won't.
any no, they're not going to. But
No.
at one point they were.
won't.
When Albie Height was involved and in charge of Nickelodeon, you goddamn knew that every creative had their hands in everything that was being done creatively. Now people that you know
Yeah.
just handle money and sign legal documents are like, yeah, I'm going to choose what SpongeBob episode happens next.
Hmm.
And that's not how it should go.
sure.
And that goes for the games too, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that perfect SpongeBob game will come one day. I will make sure of it. Even if I had to break down Nickelodeon stores and be like, where is my SpongeBob version of The Sims? I want to recreate the My Leg guy. And just get into a bunch of accidents.
You're gonna die on that hill.
Oh, wait, I want to create like a rival to Bubble Bass and create like my own like online and like create like a influencer within Bikini Bottom and compete with Bubble Bass's show directly.
I want to go selling chocolates.
Literally, there's so much I could do with that. I'm just saying. It would be a game I would lose my life to. But all right, y'all. So on that note, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Jess, for coming in and like joining on the conversation. We talked about way more games.
Sorry if I like
than,
push my agenda a little too hard on you guys. I get really stupidly overly passionate when it comes to talking about this kind of stuff.
No,
I think we want passion. Like that.
Yeah,
it helps drive the conversation.
Good.
No, for sure. And like we talked about way more games than we intended. We didn't get to like 2 of the games, but like we talked about way more than we intended. So
I mean, and Jess, you picked up my slack, given that I could not contribute on like half of these games. So you picked up my slack.
I actually did have questions in mind for Zach and Dave for the games that they didn't like know much about, but I mean, you just filled in the gaps really easily, so I didn't have to.
There's one thing I know how to do, it's not shut the fuck up.
Welcome to the club.
Hell yeah. So I can talk to
sure.
doorknobs about anything, and so when I'm thrown in a group of people that have like-minded interests, oh my god, you know I'm going to go off. Especially about things I don't get to talk about very often. And I'm very passionate about, like, for some reason, Operation Krabby Patty. It just, I don't know, I can't get enough. So, thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
I told Dave if he didn't, he was fired. So.
And everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
Merry
whatever you
Christmas.
celebrate. I celebrate not having to go to work, so that's great.
That's a dub.
Yeah,
Love it
for sure.
Love it.
And thank you all so much, and we'll see you in the new year.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Asta.
Bye.